Okay. So it's very nice to join this huge event that you all are organizing, and yeah, it's my pleasure to join this event. And you put too much pressure on me when you said like, okay, the European School of Thought is the most looked after event, and it's very special.
Yes, sir. So let me introduce Mr. Sambit Praharaj to all of the viewers who don't know him personally. And so he has a YouTube channel, SambitPhD. You might have seen he puts out a lot of great content for you guys for free, and tips to all the newcomers, gives personal guidance. Something. He also does his podcast, and he has his podcast with different PhD students, industrialists, like-minded professionals from different fields on his YouTube channel. And uh, I mean, just apart from the regular knowledge, it is his will to provide more content in the field, which is really inspiring for a lot of newcomers out there. So, sir, welcome again. That was the formal introduction from my side. So, the first question, which is an obvious one, what was it, when was the time you took this decision to do your PhD from Europe, and what was it like to be there?
Yeah, so right from when I was doing my bachelor's, I did my bachelor's in a state university in India, in Odisha. So when you are in a state university, which I have also mentioned in many videos, mostly in India, you look after like IITs or maybe triple IITs or BITS Pilani, like the top tier universities. So when you are in state university, then you always look out for that big thing. And in my case, the big thing was like, apart from the campus placements, which almost everyone goes for, the thing was like to get some exposure and go out of India and get some exposure so that I can kind of build my skills. So there was no long-term planning, but it was more like upskilling and getting that exposure, and then see like where it leads me to. So I think immediately after my bachelor's, in my final year of my bachelor's, because I started preparing like in the mid of my bachelor's for master's. So at that time I was preparing. So my background is in information technology, my bachelor's, and my master's, I finished my master's in 2017 from TU Delft in computer science. So before coming for masters, I started preparing, I think like in the last year of my bachelor's, where you apply everything. And majorly, if you see my story, it's like Europe was never my first preferred destination back in 2015. So I kind of had like US, Canada, and I think those were the two top countries. Most of my universities, I shortlisted like 10 or 12 universities, and most of them were in US or Canada, and few were in Europe, like for example ETS Zurich, which was quite ambitious considering my profile, and also TU Delft. And yeah, I think these were the only two universities I applied in Europe. And it was so situational at that moment, like when I got admit. So I got admit also in few US universities, but when choosing like which one to go for, it was very like the situation, it so happened that there was some change in the oil price, and the euro crashed from 84 rupees, I think in 2014, to when I paid the first year fees, it was like 66. So that's why the cost of study fell really, because euro crashed from 84 to 66 rupees in just a year because of the oil prices. And when you don't have a full scholarship, then you need to also compare the financial thing, like, okay, so if I go to these universities in US, which are also in top 100 or top 200 where I've got admit, then what is the like long-term advantage? And I think back in 2015 there was not much information also about Europe, and as I said, like it was not popular. So yeah, so that's how I came here. It was not that much long-term planning because all my research was on US and Canada. And after coming here, I got a lot of experience. And because I think you might have seen most people, they have some industrial experience and then they come for study abroad. And in my case, it was not the case. So I did not have any experience. I just came straight away after bachelor's. Then I did my master's here. Then I started my PhD. And the people that I've come across, the things that I've learned in this last 6 years of living in Netherlands is really, really huge. And that was also one of the reasons why I started this writing in Quora and also my YouTube channel, to help you all out. Like, okay, there was not that much information 6 years back, and maybe now I can somehow give back to the community, like make their experience. And I see that nowadays many people are coming. I mean, I know more about computer science, but I see also in different fields here in Netherlands, they're also famous for architecture, civil, and aerospace, and many other fields. Yeah. So that's like a long story. I could not make it short.
Yes, but the story had a personal touch to it, so all our subscribers would connect to it. Uh, so now coming to the technical aspects, you
Yeah.
have planned for US and Canada, but landed up in Europe because your applications and your way of approach had somewhat must be catering to the Europe requirements at a European university. So I'd like to ask, what was your strategy in terms of your SOP and LOR when you were focusing on the European universities? Of course, you have planned for US and Canada, but you would have submitted an application for European universities. And now that you've lived there for 6 years, culminating all of this together, what should be the criteria or the things a student should look at when he wants to pursue a career in Europe?
Okay, that's I mean, that's already like a, because like Europe is famous for the diversity, so obviously the application requirements will vary from country to country. But in general, in short, if I can sum it up, it will be like, so in the motivation letter, whatever I have seen based on my experience 5-6 years back, is that ideally the motivation letter that you write here is a bit longer than the motivation letter that I wrote for US, and in terms of words and the content that you need to provide. And every university has also its criteria like listed down on the website, like, okay, you need to fill this. Like, for example, TU Delft has a special criteria, like write a hypothetical project that you want to do during your master thesis, even though you don't do it, but they want to see like how you are able to craft a story around this hypothetical project that you might do as a part of your research thesis, and kind of elaborate it a bit based on the limit they have. So the general template is very same like for different universities, but each university has their individual criteria like this. Like, so you need to really go through the university website and really optimize and tailor make the CV for that particular university, the SOP for that particular university. And I think like in general, if I give you some advice, it will be like, try to kind of bring your CV and try to elaborate your CV into different paragraphs, like whatever points you have mentioned in the CV, try to make them more detailed in your SOP. That is the easiest way to start from scratch. And then kind of start seeing patterns like, okay, should I describe it in a temporal manner? Because there are different ways to write SOP or motivation letter. Some people start like just chronologically in the motivation letter, or maybe if you really want to apply for a particular position which asks something on that particular field, and you have done an internship, which is very worth noticing in the first 2 paragraphs, then maybe like highlight those things in the beginning and somehow connect that to something which you have done before that internship or after that internship without following the ideal chronological order. So there are different ways, but the starting point should be like, have your CV ready and this points noted down, and then start seeing patterns and take your time. So ideally, I would say, like in my case also, 6 months to a year should be your time frame which you have in your mind, that you can craft a good SOP or motivation letter, because you cannot write it at one go. So you get some ideas, then you improve it, you then just forget about it, and then again, that's what we also do when writing articles. So you cannot write good things if you just sit on and in one go. Yeah. So these are the few points that I think is worth noticing in general while writing a motivation letter or SOP.
We can take some question from the chat, so to
Yeah.
keep things rolling. And so Shushil has a question. I'm just putting it on the screen. That is, hello Sambit sir, I'm doing my MSc in seed science and technology. I'm confused between countries for PhD. I am married and to bring my family with me, which country should I approach?
Okay, so if you have, I mean, if you see my videos, I've mentioned it repeatedly, like PhD in most European countries, be it Sweden, be it Germany, be it Netherlands, it's 99% of the PhD positions are like a job. So you get a work contract and you are an employee in that university and you get very good remuneration, like some salary every month and also some bonus and all other facilities. So if you want to bring a family, then I would say like if you come to Netherlands or Germany, every country has something called dependent visa. So like your immediate family, like your partner or spouse, you can bring them using that dependent visa. If you come here as an employee, then they can come as a dependent visa. And I can speak about Netherlands and Germany. For family also, they give good facilities and some discounts in terms of your living expense and all these things. So there are a lot of benefits, and slowly once you come here, obviously with one person's salary it won't be sufficient for a family. So what people do is like they come as a dependent visa and the other person starts looking for jobs based on their skills, and within a year they also start working, and then they convert the dependent visa to a work visa. And I think with two persons working, it is more than sufficient to survive here. And if you want to know in details about the salary and all, I mean, it varies between 2,000 to 2,500 euros on hand per month. And you can find details on my channel. Like there are a lot of things around that. So yeah, so to be in short, I would say like, and I think he also asked about the countries. So you can choose any country depending on your field. I don't know exactly your field, like Sweden, Netherlands, Germany, Switzerland. These are like some good, and maybe some Nordic countries like Norway or Denmark. Yeah, so you can look for them.
Coming to the next question, that's coming from Suraj. It is, hello sir, what is the scope of biotechnology and research in Netherlands? What are the top institute in Netherlands for masters in biotechnology and opportunities for fully funded scholarships? I'm just broadening a bit. We can discuss on, the top sought after courses from Netherlands, or where Netherlands is headed to in terms of latest technologies.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me a second.
Yeah, then I can first answer the the main courses that Netherlands is famous for, and then I can go to his question. So as I have mentioned in the beginning of this chat also, like if you see in different rankings or the research output that they are having here in Netherlands, I think civil and architecture and agriculture, Wageningen University is one of the technical universities ranked 1 in agriculture. And if you want something on food science, agriculture, Wageningen is very famous. And regarding architecture, civil and all, you can find all these TUs. So answering his question also, there's something called technical universities here, which is otherwise known as like Technische Universität. In Germany also you have that concept. So they are like the top tier universities in the country. So we have 4 TUs in Netherlands, which is TU Delft, TU Eindhoven, and Twente University and Wageningen University. So if you are really interested, you have to search for a field. I guess Wageningen will have some opportunities in biotech because they do work related to that, and agriculture, food science, animals, plants, and all these things. So maybe they might have, but you have to look for it. So you can go for these TUs. And for scholarships, every university has in their website, it is listed, and there is something called studyinholland.nl, which is like a aggregator website where you can find all this information about like the TUs and what universities course wise you can search and shortlist, and also every information about the scholarships. So yeah, you can look for studyinholland.nl. And one good thing I can say you, like, because everyone's asking about their individual fields, is like try to go to LinkedIn and be it any European country and look for some alumni, like just browse through LinkedIn based on the keywords that you want to apply. And you will find really many people who are there who have already been seen that field and graduated, and they can really help you out for these individual subject specific questions. And that will be a really good learning experience for you also.
Great. So now we have a question from Deepak. I'm just putting it up on the screen. So, hello, Sambit sir. I'm planning for my master's in civil in Europe. I have a good academic profile, but not much of internship and jobs. So, could you suggest me some good institutes and how to improve profile? So, it's someone
Regarding
who hasn't gone through internships and jobs, so he wants to improve profile on that field.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you take my profile, a copy of my profile, I had a short intensive experience. I think 2 short intensive experiences, but not any such significant job experience because I came immediately after my bachelor's. So, considering that it is possible, I mean, nowhere in the requirements here it is mentioned that you should have definitely a job experience. And whatever I know, that doesn't really hinder your chance to get an admit if you have 0 job experience. So that should not be a problem. And regarding universities, as I said, like look for the TUs, and TU Delft, you can search, I think is ranked like 3 or 4 in the world after MIT and some university in civil. So they have really nice projects like industrial projects. And during a thesis also, I have mentioned that many times, like you can do industrial thesis. There's option here. You can choose doing the research thesis either in the university or with an industry. And when you do that, then it opens up a lot of opportunities, like whether you want to go in research or jobs later after your master's. So yeah. And regarding improving the profile, yeah, I mean, I don't know which year you are in. Like if you are already have some CGPA and you're writing a motivation letter, then obviously you cannot do anything. But if you haven't, then I would say like at least have some internship experience if you have the time, and then write a good motivation letter and then go for it. Just go for it. Good luck.
Great. So we're gonna take the last question for the session, and that is, how many masters project do you need for applying a PhD abroad? So basically, in this case, we can focus on Netherlands and Europe. So
yeah, I mean, I can also talk about Germany because one of my professor, he works with Goethe University and also with DIPF Frankfurt in Lebanese Institute. So that's why I also know their selection criteria. So yeah, so it's not like how many, what is the quality of the work. So if you have done 1 master's, then I guess you will have 1 major project. I don't know how the structure is in IITs and all, but maybe you might have 1 minor, 1 major, or maybe 1 major. So I think it will be better to do that project or the thesis or research, whatever you call it, do that particular thing with a very good quality. By quality, I mean like having some good output in that, or some significant publication if possible, or maybe write something for a journal or something like that. So if you have those things, then you can show that to the hiring committee, and I think that is going to help. So I don't think you should focus on having 2-3 projects, but have 1, but focus on the quality.
thank you so much, sir. I was about to make it as the last question, but an interesting question came up, and I have to take it.
Okay.
Which is a cheaper place in Amsterdam? I'm coming to Netherlands next month.
I have a housing video you can check, but I can tell you, to be honest, I will disappoint you. Amsterdam, I don't think you'll find any cheaper places. It's very high cost of living. So if you want for a temporary stay, you can certainly look for some Airbnbs, but for longer stay, I don't think anything is cheaper. Even student houses are in the range of 500 to 800 euros per month with a very small size house. So yeah, Amsterdam is very expensive. Or you can do one thing is like Netherlands is very small. Go for something like in Rotterdam or Delft or something, which is like 60 kilometers from Amsterdam, and then go back and forth with the train or something like that, which is not that difficult. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for doing this. It's a privilege to host you. And to all the viewers out there, just subscribe to Sambit PhD channel, and you can get a lot of information of how to plan your higher studies in Netherlands. So, sir, any final notes you'd like to say to all the students out there who are planning to come to Netherlands soon?
Yeah, so don't. I mean, only one thing I will tell is that many people ask me, like, if they apply for masters or PhD, like, should I start preparing something from now? So I would say, like, just try to focus on the present. Like, don't think that much like what is going to happen when you come here after 2 years or 3 years. Focus on, suppose you are applying now for application, just focus on that one specific task and do it to your best. And side by side, obviously you can upskill yourself from different short projects or some online courses or something, but don't focus too much on that, because I would say, like, most of the time people think like whether they should do A, then B, then C, then D. But I would say, like, even if you know only A, once you come here and go through the problems, discover yourself, the self discovery process helps you to grow as a person and also learn a lot of new things. And then you learn how you go from B to C. And then it's much even better for you, for your own growth, instead of someone telling you like, okay, this is the path you should go for, and from India you should be completely ready. So don't focus too much on that. Yeah, so that's what I can say.
Okay, so thank you so much, sir, for doing this, coming to the
Yeah.
mentor conference, and it was an absolute honor and privilege to have you here.
Yeah, thank you very much again for inviting me and having this nice consortium or event or whatever you call it, like for all these people who are aspiring to study abroad. This is so nice that you could like bring in so many people. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
So, guys, now we are heading towards the end stages of the mentorship conference.